Consistency is not merely a trait. It is a philosophy, a way of life, a mindset that separates the wishful thinkers from the doers of great deeds. You work. The world is filled with people who start strong, who burst out of the gates with ambition and enthusiasm. You work, only to fade when the path becomes steep or the rewards do not arrive swiftly. But those who understand the true value of consistency, they know that every great mountain is climbed one steady step at a time. They do not rely on occasional sprints of effort, but rather, while they commit to the daily grind, knowing full well that excellence is built not in explosive moments, but in quiet, unseen hours of focused repetition. To push yourself to be consistent is to declare war on complacency. It is to reject the illusion that success will come by accident or by bursts of temporary motivation. Consistency demands that you show up while they watch you work, even when you are tired, even when you are inspired, even when no one is cheering. You work because the reward is not just in the outcome. It is in who you become through the process. Each day you commit to a routine. You work. Each time you honor a promise to yourself, you are forging a new identity. One that does not flinch in the face of difficulty. One that does not negotiate with laziness. One that acts with discipline rather than emotion. The human mind seeks comfort. It resists repetition. You work, especially when that repetition brings no immediate pleasure. But here lies the secret. The most powerful results in life come from the least glamorous actions. The writer becomes a master not by writing when inspired, but by writing every single day. The athlete becomes a champion not by competing on occasion, but by training endlessly, rain or shine. The entrepreneur builds an empire not by taking one big risk, but by executing relentlessly on small tasks. With consistency and precision, the greatness you admire in others is not magic. It is the outcome of thousands of consistent choices executed in silence over years. Understand this: you will never rise above the standards you consistently follow. You can set goals, make vision boards, repeat affirmations, but if your daily actions do not align with your aspirations, all of it will remain a fantasy. To live the life you envision, you must match it with the behaviors that support it. Every single day, consistency is the bridge that carries you from where you are to where you want to be. It is the daily vote you cast for your future self. So begin today, not tomorrow. Not next week, today. And once you begin, do not stop. When your mind tries to lure you into procrastination, remind yourself, this is the work that molds my destiny. Push yourself. Show up, even if the progress feels slow, even if it feels invisible. Because soon the invisible becomes undeniable. And when it does, you work. It will not be luck that brought you there. It will be your consistency. In the journey toward any meaningful achievement, consistency is the silent architect behind every structure of success. It is not dramatic, nor is it always inspiring, but it is always effective. Most people believe that greatness requires massive action, dramatic change, or some grand breakthrough. But in reality, while they watch you work, what it truly requires is the ability to repeat small actions daily, regardless of circumstances. You work. The individual who masters this principle discovers a secret that eludes the majority. Success is not something you chase. It is something you attract by becoming consistent with who you say you want to be. You see, every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. If you wake up every morning and train your body, you are voting to become strong. If you read and study each night, you are voting to become wise. If you practice your craft every single day, even when no one notices, you are voting to become a master. These votes, when cast consistently, begin to compound. Over time, they form habits, and those habits, like bricks, begin building the life you desire. But the enemy of consistency is comfort. Your mind will whisper, skip it just this once. It will tempt you to believe that missing one day won't matter. And while one missed day may seem harmless, the pattern it creates is not. It sends a message to your subconscious: discipline is optional. You must push yourself beyond these whispers. You must be the type of person who honors their word, not only to others, but to themselves. Because if you cannot rely on yourself, who else can you expect to? You work. The greatest internal power you can develop is self-trust. The belief that when you say you will do something, you will follow through, no matter how you feel. They work. That trust is built one day at a time through repeated action. Each time you do what you promised, even when it's inconvenient, you build a little more confidence. You begin to believe that you are capable. You work, not because someone told you so, but because you've proven it to yourself through action. That kind of self-assurance cannot be given. It must be earned through consistency. Life does not reward those who work occasionally with intensity, but those who work consistently with intention. They watch. Intensity can make an impact, but only consistency creates transformation. You work. You do not become strong by lifting heavy weights once. You become strong by lifting manageable weights repeatedly. You do not learn by studying for 10 hours in one night. You learn by showing up to study daily. Everything worth mastering requires repetition. Consistency, then, is the mother of mastery. So make a decision no more waiting for the perfect mood, the ideal time, or a sudden wave of motivation. Instead, build a system. Set your standard and show up. Push yourself to act with discipline even when it's inconvenient. Because one day, all those small, while they watch you work, consistent actions will lead you to a place where most never arrive. Not because they couldn't, but because they didn't. You will, because you chose consistency. They watch you work. To push yourself to be consistent is to take control of your life in the most practical, powerful way possible. It is the act of no longer being a servant to fleeting emotion, outside circumstances, or temporary motivation. Instead, while they watch you work, it is the choice to become a person governed by purpose and anchored in discipline. The truth is, every time you act in alignment with your goals, especially when it's difficult, you are training your mind to work for you rather than against you. You are conditioning yourself to overcome laziness, self-doubt, and procrastination, and that conditioning becomes your new default, your new identity. Many people fail to achieve what they truly desire not because they aren't capable, but because they are inconsistent. They start, then stop. They begin with energy, then give up when challenges appear. They let life dictate their pace rather than setting the pace themselves. But consistency is a statement: I will move forward no matter what. I will not let delay, distraction, or discomfort pull me off track. I am committed. They watch you work. And commitment means doing what needs to be done long after the mood in which I made the decision has passed. It is important to understand that consistency does not mean perfection. You will have setbacks. You will have off days. But the consistent person always returns to the path. They do not allow a single misstep to turn into a permanent detour. They forgive themselves quickly, adjust their approach if necessary, and continue. This ability to realign and refocus is one of the greatest strengths of a consistent individual. They are not derailed by failure. They are redirected by it. Pushing yourself to be consistent also creates momentum, and momentum is a powerful force. When you repeat a behavior, it becomes easier to do. Your mind no longer debates whether to act. You simply act. Now, this frees up mental energy and removes decision fatigue. You no longer need to ask, should I do this today? It becomes a non-negotiable part of who you are. Like brushing your teeth, showing up for your goals becomes a daily ritual. While they watch you work, there is something noble about showing up for yourself every day, even when no one is watching. It demonstrates that you value your own progress enough to keep going, even in silence. And it's often in that silence where the deepest transformation occurs. No applause, no recognition. Just you, your effort, and your vision. That is where champions are made. Not on the podium, but in the repetition, in the decision to try again, in the daily pursuit of better. The question is not, can you do it? The real question is, while they work, will you do it again tomorrow? Because if you can answer yes to that, and then answer yes again the day after, you are building something unshakable. Push yourself to be consistent, not because it's easy, but because your future demands it. Do it because each day you choose consistency. You move one step closer to the extraordinary life that only the persistent ever reach. When you make the decision to push yourself to be consistent, you work. You are choosing to live by design, not by default. Most people drift through life, reacting to whatever the day throws at them. You work, guided by their emotions or the opinions of others. But the person who commits to consistency becomes a deliberate creator. They understand that each day is an opportunity, not an obligation. They approach their goals with intention, not just interest. Interest fades, but intention, fueled by discipline, endures. It is this mindset that separates the average from the exceptional. Consistency is the discipline to act regardless of how you feel. If you only work when you feel good, you'll never reach your potential. Emotions are unstable, but principles are steady. And if your principles say, I show up no matter what, then your success is not left to chance. It becomes inevitable. The weather, your mood, outside distractions, none of it will control you, because you have made the decision that progress matters more than comfort. Work. It's not about being the best every single day. It's about being present, being committed, and being better than you were yesterday. Even just a little. What makes consistency so powerful is its compound nature. The results are rarely immediate, and that's what discourages most. They plant seeds but abandon the soil before the first shoot appears. They work for a few days, a few weeks, and give up when the outcome isn't visible. But consistency is a long game. It's an investment. You put in the time, the effort, the patience, and while it may seem like nothing is happening, beneath the surface, growth is occurring. Your habits are taking root. Your character is being shaped. Your future is being formed. Every time you act with consistency, you are proving to yourself that you are serious about your goals. And self-respect grows from this kind of discipline. While they work, it's not just about others seeing you as reliable. It's about you seeing yourself that way. When you know deep down that you can trust yourself to follow through, you walk differently. You think more clearly. You make decisions with confidence. You work because your identity is no longer based on your intentions, but on your demonstrated actions. You are no longer someone who tries. You are someone who does. Consistency is also contagious. When others see your commitment, they are inspired to raise their own standards. Your discipline becomes an example. You work. Your resilience becomes a signal that it's possible to stay the course even when it's hard. You create an atmosphere of excellence, not just for yourself, but for those around you. Your consistency becomes a form of leadership, a quiet, persistent force that motivates without speaking. So as you walk your path, while they watch you work, remember this: the days when you don't feel like showing up are the days that matter most. Anyone can work when it's easy, but those who push through when it's difficult, they are the ones who rise above. Choose consistency. Push for it. Build your life around it, and you will be unstoppable. To push yourself to be consistent is to embrace the idea that success is built in the ordinary. It is not the once-in-a-lifetime moments that define your life. It's the thousands of quiet, uncelebrated days where you kept your promise to yourself. These are the moments when no one was watching, when no applause was given, when the results seemed far away, and yet you chose to show up. That choice, work, repeated over time, creates not just outcomes, but strength of character. It shapes the kind of person who becomes unshakable in their pursuit, not because of luck, but because of relentless commitment. Most people underestimate the power of small actions performed daily. You work. They believe greatness must come with intensity, with fire, with excitement. But what truly elevates a person is the ability to act without needing those emotional highs. A consistent individual understands that the mundane is sacred. The routine is powerful. The boring is essential. Whether it's writing one page, training for 1 hour, or practicing a single skill each day, these repetitions add up. And eventually, they don't just change your results. They change who you are. Think of consistency as a muscle. At first, it's weak. It resists pressure. It wants to give in. But the more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Soon, you begin to act not because it's easy, but because it's normal. What once felt difficult becomes part of your lifestyle, and that lifestyle becomes your identity. You are no longer negotiating with yourself each day. You know your purpose. You know your standards, and you rise to meet them, not occasionally, but continually. There is a special kind of freedom that comes from being consistent. You work. It's the freedom of knowing you are in control of your life. You are not waiting for circumstances to be ideal. You are not relying on others to push you. You are driven from within. That inner drive, the discipline to act consistently, is one of the most valuable assets a human being can possess. It creates reliability. It builds momentum. And it separates you from the majority who live by emotion instead of principle. Consistency also protects you from regret. So many people live in a constant loop of starting and stopping, of trying and quitting. Each time they quit, they watch you work. They create more doubt within themselves. But when you stay consistent, even if progress is slow, you never have to wonder, what if? You know that you gave your best effort day in and day out. That peace of mind is priceless. So, when you wake up tomorrow, remind yourself your future is shaped not by what you do occasionally, but by what you do consistently. One day of effort may go unnoticed, but 100 days will transform your life. Keep showing up. Keep pushing. Keep doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it, because that is where transformation lies, in the repetition, in the discipline, in the consistency. When you push yourself to be consistent, you begin to build a life based on intentional action rather than emotional reaction. This is a shift from hoping to achieving, from wishing to working. So many people live in cycles of short-term effort followed by long-term regret. They start projects, set goals, chase dreams. But when the excitement fades, so does their commitment. The truth is, consistency is what bridges the gap between desire and accomplishment. It's what transforms vague ambitions into clear results. Without consistency, while they work, even the best plans will collapse under the weight of inconsistency. One of the most powerful lessons you can learn is that discipline is more dependable than motivation. Motivation is a spark. It feels good. It moves fast. You work, but it doesn't last. Discipline, on the other hand, is like a slow burning flame that keeps going even when the winds of life blow hard. And the only way to build that discipline is to train yourself to act regardless of your emotional state. To push forward on the hard days, not just the easy ones. Because it's in those hard days that your character is truly forged. Consistency gives you the gift of momentum. It may start slowly, almost invisibly, like drops of water filling a jar. At first you see no change. It feels pointless, repetitive. But if you keep going, if you keep adding value, effort, and focus, the jar begins to fill, progress compounds, and then one day, everything changes. The results become visible. The skills are sharp. The habits are automatic. People will call you talented. But you will know the truth. It was consistency that did the heavy lifting, not some hidden gift. There is also power in routine. When you set a consistent schedule and stick to it, your mind becomes conditioned for success. You remove the need to constantly negotiate with yourself. Should I do it today? Becomes irrelevant, because the answer is always yes. You don't ask whether or not. It becomes who you are. A consistent person lives with a level of mental clarity and purpose that few others reach. You work. They don't waste time debating. They take action. Another essential truth is that your consistency inspires others, even if you don't realize it. Someone is watching your journey. They see your discipline. They notice how you keep showing up, and your example gives them permission to do the same. While they watch you work, when you live with consistency, you aren't just creating your own path. You are lighting the way for others to follow. So don't underestimate the power of your daily actions. You may not see the impact immediately, but every moment of effort is a seed planted. Keep watering those seeds. Keep nurturing your habits. Stay faithful to the process, because in time your harvest will come. And it will not be the result of a single day of effort. It will be the product of consistent days stacked on top of one another. That is the path to greatness. Not glamour, not luck, just quiet, steady, relentless consistency. While they work, consistency is the greatest commitment you can make to your own growth. It is the ultimate declaration that you believe in your vision enough to work on it every single day, regardless of obstacles, distractions, or delays. To push yourself to be consistent is to choose long-term gain over short-term comfort. It's easy to act when you feel motivated. You work. It's easy to work hard when success feels near. But it's in the days when you're tired, discouraged, or unsure that consistency truly matters. You work. Those are the days that separate those who wish from those who achieve. When you show up consistently, you are telling the world, and more importantly, yourself, that your dreams are worth the effort. Every repeated action becomes a message to your subconscious that you are serious, committed, and ready to earn what you desire. And with each act of discipline, your belief in yourself grows. Confidence is not built by thinking positively. It's built by proving to yourself over and over again that you follow through on your intentions. That proof is gathered only through consistent behavior. The beauty of consistency is that it doesn't require perfection. It only requires persistence. You don't have to get it all right every day. You simply have to refuse to quit. Even when you stumble, even when you fall short, get back up and get back to work. Each time you do, you work. You're reinforcing your identity as someone who finishes what they start. That identity will carry you further than talent ever could, because talent without consistency is wasted potential. But even modest ability, when applied consistently, becomes a powerful force. Another vital truth is that consistency builds emotional resilience. Life will test you. Disappointments will come. Progress will feel slow. You work. But if you've built the habit of showing up no matter what, you'll keep going. You'll continue to move forward while others give up, while they watch you work. That quiet persistence gives you a kind of inner strength that no setback can steal. You won't need to rely on external validation or immediate results because you'll be anchored in discipline and purpose. In every field. Business, health, relationships, personal development. Those who rise to the top are not always the most gifted. They are the most consistent. They are the ones who put in the work daily, even when no one is watching. And in time, that work separates them from the crowd. It's not dramatic. It's not flashy. It's simply effective. So, as you move forward in your own journey, remind yourself every time you show up. While they watch, you are investing in a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and closer to success. You don't have to move fast, but you do have to move forward. Repeatedly, consistently, and deliberately. That's how breakthroughs happen. Not in a single moment, but through a series of disciplined decisions made day after day. Choose consistency. Push yourself. Keep going. While they watch you work, your future is waiting for the version of you who never gave up.